This really is the barest bones of a temporary budget, 1-month budget, and that's the intent, is just to try to protect the most vulnerable citizens. And what we fully believe is it's also important to invest in our human infrastructure to make sure economic development is not hampered.
We have indicated across the board what our key essential services, child care, services for people with developmental disabilities, making sure that we have enough law enforcement on the streets to keep our communities safe, making sure we have correction officers that are getting paid. The governor needs to communicate to the taxpayers of the state of Illinois what he thinks is key, what he thinks is essential.
When you centralize cuts in very vulnerable communities, in communities that didn't have an opportunity to benefit from the recovery in the first place, and you put those cuts there, concentrated in there, you have an economic multiplier that affects every other ancillary business connected to it.
We heard story after story of young mothers who depended on child care so they could keep their jobs or that they could continue to go to school. We heard about children who were dependent upon medical attention at home who basically were going to be forced into the hospital if their program was eliminated. We heard about the cuts in autism. How do you tell a family that their autistic child doesn't get services anymore? These are the stories, and people have to understand that we're not just talking about numbers, we're talking about human lives.
This isn't a game. We're not in a corporate boardroom where you can set the tone. We're here because we all have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to represent the people who sent us here. And the people that sent me here, they're afraid. They have been bullied into a corner. The scare tactics that the governor is using is so unfair because many people really don't understand the dynamics. All they know is they're going to wake up on July 1st and their life will change.
In this particular case, in a daycare that houses children with HIV, where no other daycare will take these children, the line item has completely zeroed out. What do I say to these parents now of these 77 children, where these children will go? What will happen to the parents since they have to work?
We've just heard about the extraordinary breadth of human consequences that will be felt in every community in this state if we just allow services to shut down.
We don't want to be combative, but communities like mine and others, it's very clear that this seems to be, no matter what kind of budget we submit, the gentleman does, and we can give him a supplemental, does not have any intention on concerns on the critical services. Just look at the practice. It speaks for itself. And at the end of the day, to sum up, we need to be focused on that as well as the infrastructure of our great state in terms of roads and highways.
This bill is to recognize what we believe is essential to state government operations, things that should transcend political discussion and the back and forth and the impasse we have today, and to move that measure to the governor, and we would simply urge his support and his signature.